And I'm delighted to have in the studio with me, as always, Tony Mepham. How are you this week, Tony?
I'm very good, and just looking at what's coming tomorrow. We always start with the weather, don't we?
Let's start with the
I'm
weather.
a little bit worried tomorrow, but fingers crossed. I know some pitches took a bit of a hit last night, but hopefully we're okay. But I think there'll be quite a few pitch inspections in the morning, about 10 o'clock, half 10.
Well, let's look back before we look ahead. So on Wednesday, there was the Under-18s 8-a-side competition, and this is the first time it's ever been done. So how did it go?
It went really well. The development at the Isle of Man FA decided that we needed to try something different, and because it's half term next week, but we've done it over 2 weeks, is let's do something that they haven't done before. And what it was, we split the bowl into two halves and played 8-a-side. So it was quick, no offside. 25 minutes, I know this sounds daft, there's no half time, but you do turn around just in case of the weather conditions. If it's windy, then the advantage isn't to one particular team for the 25. And there was some close games, some real talent out there, because it's totally different football. It's so close. It's basically like two touch. You got to get it, control it, and get it out of feet, otherwise you close down. And, the standout team, as we expected, was going to be St George's. They beat Onken 6-0. They also played against a good Corinthian side and beat them 3-0. And then against Ramsey Youth Centre B, they won 4-0. And that one, in the other group, because it was just the way the draw was done, is a little bit easier. And I don't mean that with any disrespect, but Peel look as if they're going to be the strongest. They had a good first game against Laxey B, winning 4-0. And then Ramsey Youth Centre A came into it, but could only draw with Laxey B, because I thought they might have tested Peel. But in the following game, Peel beat Ramsey Youth Centre A 3-0. So it does look as if Peel are going to win that group. The next set of fixtures is next Wednesday. So they get to play every team, which is brilliant. And there's no sort of real thrashings because it's only 25 minutes. And then the winners of Group A against the winners of Group B will be the final game. I think it's 9:30 kickoff next Wednesday. So looking forward to that. And yeah, great to see so many parents down supporting their children, and great atmosphere, and no, shall we say, feisty challenges going in, which was always good, because at that age it can be a little bit sensitive at times.
Excellent. Well, it sounds like it was a roaring success.
It was.
Onwards and upwards. And looking at the fixtures tomorrow, starting in the men's Prem, we've got St George's versus St John's, Douglas Old Boys versus Mepham, Ramsey will take on Laxey, Douglas Athletic take on Corinthians, Peel versus Ayr, and also Douglas Royal versus St Mary's. So what are we looking out for tomorrow?
We're looking for Railway Cup qualification now for the final on Boxing Day, and I have to say I'm more relaxed. I'm not relaxed with the weather tomorrow, but more relaxed than I have been for the last 4 or 5 years, because we don't seem to be able to get that game played on Boxing Day unless we moved it one time, because when the stand was damaged down at the Bowl, we actually moved it up to Ballafletcher. But certainly at the moment, Corinthians are in. As far as I know, Russian are in. And then the next challenges you're looking at are St George's, and you're also looking at St Mary's. Now, St Mary's got a tough game tomorrow against Douglas Royal, and be interested just to see how that goes, because Douglas Royal have been remarkable over the last 3 or 4 games. Plenty of goals, playing with a lot of flair, and listening to 1 or 2 people who really know the game saying that it's as good a football as they've seen for a long time from Douglas Royal. So that's a great accolade for them. Peel against Ayr, you'd expect Peel to have a good show, but you just don't know what team they're going to have. Athletic against Corinthians, that pitch must be in doubt, but Corinthians have offered Ballafletcher, because there is a postponement in Combination 1. Corinthians against Douglas Athletic can't field a team, so that means that Ballafletcher is open to be used, so the offer has gone to Athletic if their pitch isn't fit to move it up to Ballafletcher. But Ramsey against Laxey should be a good battle, but I know Johnny Palmer's struggling at the moment with players' availability, with injuries and everything else. I think Ramsey will win that one. Old Boys against Moran, wow. Drew with Russian and then sort of beating St George's, absolutely brilliant. But I think Old Boys might just have enough to beat them, because the Moran at the moment, the team that they've got and the way they're playing, you'd fancy the chances, but we'll see how that goes. And St George's against St John's, you only really see one winner in this one, and that's Geordie's.
In JCK Division 2, we've got Onken versus Colby, Maloo versus Jims. Ramsey Youth Centre will take on Pulrose. Union Mills will go up against Braddon. Governors Athletic versus Foxdale. And Douglas and District versus Michael.
I think the one I'm looking at is Onken against Colby, because I know Onken want to get involved in this battle at the top of the table. With Ramsey Youssef getting beat and Union Mills winning, that gap is starting to open up a little bit between 1 and 2 now. But then when you look after 3 and 4 positions, it's a little bit down on numbers points-wise. So it's a great battle. It's at the stadium. The stadium will be hit with the weather. But Onken commissioners and everyone else who's worked on that pitch done a great job, because it's as good as I've sort of seen it for a long, long time. Malou against Jims. Malou just want to play football, and Malou will win that, I'm pretty certain, even though Jims have been playing well. Youth Centre against Pull Rose. You're playing against the second best team on the island. I feel for Pulley at the moment, but well done. The great signing this week from Governors Athletic, Stevie Quirk. Now, Stevie's 53, 54. Well done, Stevie. I wish there was more people like you around who've just gone down. He can do that. He can still play for Governors Athletics Masters, but he's gone down to help them. Absolute credit to him. Well done to you, Steve. And if there's any more out there, just get in touch with the FA. We'll point you in the right direction.
You, Tony Mepham.
Yeah, Governors Athletic against Foxdale. I'll be honest, I was disappointed with Foxdale last week. I thought they would have been a little bit better, so I'm pretty certain Andy Corkle's sort of read the right act to the players and say, listen, if we want to stay in top 4, we've got to play better. And D&D against Michael, 2 teams struggling a little bit. I think Michael might just have a chance here to get the points, but you know, D&D will be trying to stop that, so a draw looks like a fair result.
Moving on to Combi 1, we've got St John's versus St George's, Moran versus Douglas Old Boys, Laxey versus Ramsey. The Corinthians Douglas Athletic game you mentioned could be postponed. Is postponed?
It's gone.
It's gone.
As in Douglas Athletic can't field a team, so Corinthians get the points.
And then we've also got Ayr versus Peel. So what's the match of the day to watch out for in Combi 1?
It's a little bit difficult, really, to be honest with you, because you know, Corinthians in that top position, another 3 points for them. Peel against Ayr will be a good battle, because Ayr have got some really good young players in there, as well with Peel, Sam Brown and the likes. They're bringing the youth through, and they're playing some really good football, and it's always interesting listening to Sam's report of the game after it's been played, and you know, there's some real talent there, so future looks well for Peel. Geordie's against St John's, a lot of good players at St George's, so I'd expect St John's to lose that one. Moran against Old Boys okayish in numbers. There was 36 on Tuesday night, I think it was, at training. That takes some doing to get 36 midweek on a cold night. Laxey against Ramsey, I expect Ramsey to win that one. So not too many sort of important games in that league, but still important for the clubs who are playing to take the 3 points.
And last but not by sure, not means least, Colby versus Onken in Combi 2. Also Jims versus Malou. Braddon take on Union Mills. Foxdale versus Governors Athletic. And Michael versus Douglas and District.
Well, Union Mills are the other maximum club in the league. Maximum points for games played. Even though it's at Braddon, I expect them to win that one. They've got a lot of good young players in that combination side. Colby against Onken. I'm going to go for Onken. I think if Union Mills slipped up and dropped points somewhere, I think maybe Onken and Ramsey Youth Centre are the best equipped to put a challenge on, but I think it would be a massive ask for Union Mills to fall apart, even though we're coming up to the halfway stage of the season. Jims against Malou. I'll go for Malou in that one. Foxdale against Governors. I would expect Billy Goat to win that game, but again, you know, with the weather that's coming in, you would expect that game to possibly struggle, but hopefully, fingers crossed, it's not as bad as being anticipated. But Michael against D&D. I'm going to go for D&D to sneak the points in that fixture.